Dave Battle Peak Challenge. Hey, facing your fears. Picture in your mind Benaniah as he comes upon that 500-pound lion. Can you imagine what was going through his head? He probably had that shock of fear that a lot of us get when we encounter something that we're afraid of. And think about what Benaniah did. Did he run away? Did he ignore the lion, or did he go chase after it? He chased after it. Guys, we want you to think about what your fears are and how you deal with them. We can run away from them. We can chase them. Or we can ignore them. But God wants us to know that our identity is in Him. And there's nothing to be afraid of. Some of you guys might remember the television series Fear Factor back in the early 2000s. It was one of those bizarre new shows that kind of started reality TV, where contestants would come on and they would sleep or lie down in a den of snakes, or they'd have bugs crawl across them in complete darkness, or they would jump from a moving semi to a moving semi that was going 50 miles an hour. And if you made those amazing feats, you won potentially $50,000. If you didn't, if you chose not to do that exercise, or you couldn't face your fear, you were eliminated. A lot of us have different types of fears, and those fears are simply your memory playing over and over again what the enemy is whispering to you, that you're not good enough, that you can't do it, that you're not up to the task, that it's not your identity. Everything from being a good dad to being a good father to being able to do your job effectively, to being able to serve others, and even things as simple as things that we love to do in life, like running. I have a couple of fears. A couple of fears a year ago was, could I complete the Superior 100-mile endurance race less than 5 months after knee surgery? I was in fear that I couldn't do it. The shirt shows, and a buckle and a hoodie shows that God pulled me through that, and I did complete the 100-miler. I have a fear out here at Hitchcock, since my knees have been giving me problems over the last year and a half, of running downhill. And am I running away from those fears? No. I'm out here chasing those fears. And as you'll see, I'm going to be running some pretty major downhills and get my knees back to where they need to be. So what are your fears? What are you hearing the enemy whispering to you? Here's what I want to tell you guys. Many of you are familiar with the whole Pavlov experiment, and that's where the dog is conditioned to start salivating once he hears a bell or a whistle. Well, humans are really kind of conditioned and have conditioned reflexes as well. And here's what the enemy wants you to think: that every time he whispers to you those things, those fears, those sins, he wants you to have that reflex that I can't do it, I'm not good enough, I'm not worth it. And here's the thing, guys. There's something bigger than the enemy, obviously. But there's something bigger than that Pavlov experience, that conditioned response. And here's what it is. It's scandalous grace. It's Jesus on the cross and the grace that He brings to us through His life, death, and resurrection. That scandalous grace is bigger than any fear that you could think or imagine. Think about fear in the context of Peter, when he knows that Jesus is going to the cross, and he knows that he's betrayed him. He's heard the rooster crow 3 times, and every time he hears that rooster crow, it brings guilt to him. In John 21, Jesus reappears to Peter, and they're walking along the beach, and what does Jesus say to Peter? 3 times. And why 3 times? Because what he's trying to teach Peter is, do you love me? Then follow me. Do you love me? Do you love me? What Jesus is doing in this instance is he's reconditioning Peter of that reflex, of that Pavlov response. And he's using his grace to wipe away all of that response that the enemy is whispering to him, and to give him new life through his scandalous grace. So guys, here's what I want you to do at Peak Challenge. As you think about, as we come out to Peak Challenge this summer, start thinking about what are those fears that are inside of you? What are driving those fears? And here's what I want you to know. You can face your fears, because if you're a believer in Jesus, you have scandalous grace. So let's go chase the lion.